Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk 1943, the Business Spotlight Edition. I'm your host, Regina Smithwick, and we have a special guest today, Limor Gross, and we're going to get into some conversation about business, about being confident, about LinkedIn, about all these great things that will help you benefit business-wise. So, you ready? Let's talk. All right, welcome back to Let's Talk 1943 Business Spotlight Edition. I am your host, Regina Smithwick, and we have Limor Gross. And I would definitely want to say thank you for coming on this platform. I'm looking forward to this conversation. And if you could let us audience know what is your title and what do you do and what's your why?
Sure. Hi, Regina. Thank you
Hello.
so much for having me. I loved your video. I
Oh,
love the
thank
intro
you.
video. It's so
Thank,
uplifting,
thank you.
motivating. It's great. I loved it.
Thank you.
So, I guess I start by saying that I don't like to use titles so much. I would
Mm-hmm.
say that what I do, I help women in tech get to the next level in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that either by mentoring them or coaching them in a
Mm-hmm.
very result oriented way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. It was very interesting, and I think it's really going to help our audience business wise. So let's get into a confidence building or confidence building. What is that about?
Confidence building is something that so many women, suffer from lack of confidence. Even, once in executive roles, and I am sad to see it over and over again. And, one of the things that I do with women I work with is really help them realize their strength, realize how much value they provide. And there's so many ways you can help yourself, raising your confidence. And we can talk about some strategies if you want, Regina.
Sure,
I'll
sure,
share
we
some
can.
tips. Yeah. So first of all, I would say, first and foremost, look at the people that surround you. The ones you spend days and nights with, and make sure that you spend the most time with people who uplift you and minimize the time that you spend with people who bring you down.
Mm.
Now, it's not as easy as it sounds because sometimes people who bring us down are actually the closest to us
Say it
and people
again.
that are near and dear to our heart.
That's true.
Because, we all know we don't choose our families and we love our families, right? I love my family. But sometimes they have good intentions, but they don't help us.
Mm.
And we need to put that in perspective, and we need to make sure I don't say here, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to say disconnect from your family. But if you have people in your surroundings that you love, but sometimes they don't help you with your confidence, just try
Mhm.
to mute. Try to kind of put that in perspective and amplify those who help you. who
Mm.
always energize you, who always help you feel confident. Like in your video intro, like the minute I saw that, wow, energized, motivated, I feel confident. To
Yes.
find those people like you, Regina, that helps people to realize how beautiful they are, how great they are, how strong they are.
Yeah. Yes. I always say I'm strong, I'm beautiful, and I'm enough. So yeah, you you have to have, and you made Limor, let's talk about, you made a good point. A lot of times we're friends with people because we choose them, right? And we
Yeah.
choose people at different points in our lives. And sometimes we at a point of our lives that we may not be as our best. And sometimes we attract people or where we at on that level. And
Hmm.
then if we grow and continue to change or grow and improve, and then this person's still where they're at when you were there with them, that's when we start getting a lot of conflicts and stuff, because you see yourself being different in certain parts of your lives, and that person still is where they at when you met them, and that could be conflict. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not to say that you need to cut all those people out of your life, but what you need to do is to connect with new people that are
Hmm.
where you're at right now, or when you want to get people that can motivate you, that there is more that you can achieve.
Right. So I would like to talk about that too, because let's say that's what you do. You start gravitating to people that's where you at. Where do it leave that person? Kind of like just like you're not as, you won't see them as much, or you won't be around them as much. Do they usually dissolves off by itself naturally, organically?
I think it depends, not necessarily. I have friends that I keep contact with for many years back, and I'm still in contact with them. And I do see them, and that's okay, as long as I know to put that in perspective. So I think it really depends on how those people make you feel. And if you
Hmm.
still enjoy their company, although you may have some, as you said, some conflicts or maybe different point of view, that's okay. But if you find yourself in a situation where you meet with those people, and every time you meet with them, you feel discouraged, you feel less confident, then maybe it's considering, to try to reduce the amount of time you meet with them. I
Good
think it
point.
really depends.
Yeah, really good point. So let's talk about the LinkedIn aspect of your business, because your expertise in LinkedIn. And I was just telling you, I just really engaged in LinkedIn this year, and I'm starting to see the benefits of LinkedIn. It's a friendly using. It kind of reminds you of Facebook, the way it's set up, but it has so much more. Just doing your profile alone is so many parts of that profile that you can continue to add on so many different things. And I see people looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you actually have time to look at all this stuff, because it's like it's a lot of stuff that you can put into LinkedIn. I'm starting to see that, and a lot of people are using it for like videos and actually promoting their businesses. So let's talk about that. Let's say,
Sure.
what is LinkedIn to you? Like, what's the benefits of having that?
I think first of all, LinkedIn is a tool. I have to be there because that's. Think about it. If you, and I want to kind of give an exercise to your audience,
Sure.
do a Google on your name.
Mm.
Do a Google search on your name and see what comes first. I can share that one of the top results for my name is LinkedIn. So first of all, it's a great SEO. And if someone is looking for you, they want to know about you. Maybe you want to engage in business with someone,
Hmm.
with a potential client or a partnership or whatever, and they
Hmm.
look you up. One of the first results will be LinkedIn. It's so important. If you are a professional, you have to have a LinkedIn profile. It's not an option.
Mm.
If you're not there, that's suspicious. Can tell you that. And I had some. I'm consulting to a company. I'm doing some business development, and I was helping them to look for different partnerships. And there are some companies that I was looking into potentially to partner with, and some of them didn't really have presence on LinkedIn, and even didn't showcase their employees, and it
Mhm.
raised a lot of suspicion. from my side. Why is that? Like, why they're not there?
Wow. So it's kind of like, if you're not there, why? Why are you not
Yeah,
there?
why?
What's the
That's the
secret?
place
What you
to
trying
be
to
for
hide?
business.
Is that like
That's
using it's like a BBB, right? The Business Bureau. Like, if you don't have LinkedIn, I need to look you up because something ain't right. What you hide?
yeah,
Well, that's the way the world is going. It's sometimes I can understand because we did business before LinkedIn. We survived before LinkedIn. So people like me and my generation, I'm in our 50s. We're kind of in the sandwich. Like, we know life before and we know life after. We kind of like right in that middle. We're not young enough that we don't know nothing else but this, or old enough that we only know
yeah.
that. We kind of know both ends of the spectrum. So we know how to live without it and we know how to live with it. So for people like me and that Gen, what are we are? We Gen, what am I? Gen X. I'm a Gen X. Gen X people. What do you say that, because what you just said, I'm like, well, I mean, we did business before it. So why do I need to have LinkedIn now?
It builds your credibility,
Hmm.
and it helps people find you.
In this tech.
So yeah, and there is so much more. As you said, LinkedIn is evolving every day, and they add so many things, incredible things.
You do.
So outside of your profile, you can create a newsletter, you can do live streams, you can audio. They have a new feature, relatively new feature for audio streaming. So there's so much you can do and engage. There are groups. I mean, there's so many ways for you to engage there.
Mm-hmm.
And to build credibility as the business owner, as a subject matter expert,
Mm-hmm.
depending where you're at. If you're a business owner, if you're, looking for a job, that's the place to be.
And so let's say that I wanted to find a niche or like a certain type of person that loves butterflies. Let's say that. I have a butterfly company. I sell butterflies. I need to find on LinkedIn people who like butterflies, buy butterflies, or need butterflies. How do you use LinkedIn to get that audience?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if the butterfly lovers will be on LinkedIn, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm
That's
just
a
giving
tough
you an
one.
example of, because there's businesses that specialize in that for weddings, and they grow them and sell them to people to let go, and But I'm just saying in general as a niche. How do you use LinkedIn to get engagement to people in your niche?
So you can do it in multiple ways. LinkedIn has hashtags that you can follow, and you can also post content using those hashtags. So people that
Mm-hmm.
are in a specific niche and are using that hashtag will see you, or
Mm-hmm.
you'll see what if you're following certain hashtags, you can see them. You
Mm-hmm.
can look for groups in the areas that you're interested in, and there's so many groups on LinkedIn, and I think you can be in 100 groups. I think it used to be 50 and now I think it's more. So you can just join groups based on your
Mm-hmm.
areas of interest, engage there and connect with different people in the groups.
Mm-hmm.
You can search if you want to look someone specific to reach out.
Okay. And so then you'll start, kind of doing things and using those hashtags, what they use. And then when you do that, of course, they see your material, they see your content, and they see your information. So that's a great point. So let's stay with the 5 tips you have here about building your personal brand as well as building your LinkedIn. What is those?
Yeah. So those are very basic, right? I mean, first of all, your URL. I don't know. Many people don't know that, but you can actually customize your LinkedIn URL. By default, it's something like first name, last name, and some weird combination of letters and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually utilize that URL if you want to use keywords. In your case, like butterfly expert or whatever that may be.
Now we're gonna be using that butterfly all the way. Butterfly expert.
Yeah, and think about it. Because LinkedIn ranks so high on Google searches, if you use the right keywords, you'll be fine. You'll be found on Google.
Right.
But the basic one, if you don't have like something specific, will just be your first and last name, and remove all the gibberish, all the numbers and letters. It
Mm-hmm.
looks better, and it allows you easily to share your profile. Like if I told you, yeah, my profile is Limor Bergman, so you can see it's just so easy, and you don't
So
need to
easy to see.
remember. The
Right.
second
So easy
one,
to
the
see.
second tip would be your profile picture. Seems kind of obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems obvious,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll be surprised how many people don't have a picture, or they have a very outdated picture.
Oh, okay.
And you need to update it, because what happens is that when you connect to someone, and if you don't have a picture, first of all, you have much lower chances that someone will want to interact with you. I think according to LinkedIn, it's 21 times more that
Mm-hmm.
people will likely contact you if you have a picture than not. Because you connect to someone when you see who they are and how they look like.
Mm-hmm.
And think about, if I put a picture of myself from 20 years ago, when I was maybe blonde. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I look
Exactly.
different. I had a different hairstyle. I had less wrinkles and whatever. And someone connects with me, and then we jump on a call, and
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden I don't even look like myself. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to put a relatively recent picture
Mm-hmm.
and
That makes
update it
sense.
once in a while. And it doesn't have to be professionally shot. I did I did that recently, just because I enjoy it, but it doesn't have to be. Once I put a picture from my US visa application, and once I put a picture that my daughter took when we were just grabbing some coffee. So it doesn't have to be super fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Just nice picture with a dim, relatively, light and not dominant background, and that's it.
Yeah. Great. That's great advice.
And the other picture you should have is the background picture that not many people utilize. And this is a great real estate to put something about you. And especially if you're a business owner, you can
Mm-hmm.
create your brand and your call to action or whatever you want on your on your background picture.
That's good.
And you can use tools like Canva. I don't know, do you use Canva, Regina?
I need to. I tried, and I really need to, because you could save a lot of money using Canva for your media flyers and just And I need to actually get involved in a little bit more in Canva. But yes, I do know what it is.
Yes, so Canva, Canva. This is my go-to tool to anything design related, and I'm not a designer, but it's like I call it Photoshop for, you know, Photoshop for poor, or it's like Photoshop for people who know nothing about design, basically. And
That's
they
what
have
I
a
need to
free
get into.
version, and they have like a pro version. I even pay, because they have more options and more. You can use more images,
Mm-hmm.
royalty free images and different logos and stuff like that on the paid version, and it's wonderful. And you can use that to build really a nice background picture. But you can
Oh,
also use that for posting, because every time you do a post on social media, you want to have a picture, right? You don't want
that's
to.
right.
So you can use it for so many things, and it's great. Highly recommend this tool.
All right, I'll go ahead and get more involved in Canva.
I hope I convinced you. At least try it
Yes, you
out.
did. You did.
And the next one would be your headline. So by default, what LinkedIn put is just your last position. So basically, your title, let's say I'm a software engineer at Google. So
Mm-hmm.
they will put software engineer at Google. But what if I want to do something different? I want to do a career change, or my next role, actually, I want to become a product manager and I'm trying to get into product management.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the headline is a great opportunity to put all the keywords that you want to highlight and all the different skills you have and all the different things that you do and you're
Mm-hmm.
capable of doing. And it will allow others to find you based on it, because maybe you are whatever, a content writer, and you are a paid advertising expert, maybe you know to do different things. So you can use multiple keywords there and
Mm-hmm.
help people find you.
Oh, okay. That's another great tip. Yeah.
And actually, they increased the number of characters you can use in the headline. It used to be 120,
Mm-hmm.
and now I think it's around 300
Oh, that's a big
characters. So
difference.
you can
Mm-hmm.
actually use that real estate to
Oh, yeah,
promote
that's a big
yourself.
difference.
Definitely utilize it. Definitely. And most people don't do that. Most people don't bother changing it.
Mm.
And
You
that's a
know
shame, I
what?
think.
Yeah, but see, just like we learning today, because a lot of us are not experts in this, and you are, and this is a blessing to have you up here because there are gonna be some people that probably never even thought about even starting a LinkedIn. They think that, well, I just work at this company. I've been there for 20 years. Why I need to start a LinkedIn page? I'm not trying to find a job. What I need it for, and it's for so much more. Correct?
So I'll answer that question because you raised it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, today, there is no guarantee that the job you have is going to stay. I mean, unlike at least my parents worked at the same for the same employer the entire career and then they retired.
Mm-hmm.
It rarely exists today. It
Mm-hmm.
rarely exists. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it rarely exists. And even if you work for the same company for 20 years and from your perspective you just want to retire there, no one can guarantee you that.
That's
And if you have a profile and you build it smartly and you invest a little bit time on it, at least you will allow yourself the opportunity to find something else in case, this job, if this company, cease to exist or they do a reduction in force or whatever. So that's at
Mhm.
least. But another thing that can happen is that companies will reach out to you and maybe there will be some opportunities you haven't thought about. And all of a sudden you'll consider doing
Oh,
something different.
that's
What
true
if that
too.
happens?
That's true too. Yeah, and you never, like I said, you never know your destiny. You never know your orders, your divine order. So if you put it out there, you may have something that come at you, like you said, that you least expect, but it could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You see, you answered that very well. Very well.
It
That's a good
happened to,
point. Very good.
it happened to me. It happened to me. I was not, working at the same place and waiting for retirement, but I was working. And when I moved to the US, I started a job and then what happens, companies started reaching out to me like crazy. Like every
Oh,
week I got reach out. And one day a company reached out and really I liked them. And I thought it's a great opportunity. So I moved. I worked there. And then after a few years, another company reached out to me. And it just happened. And it was amazing and incredible. And the companies that reached out to me were places I would never think about. I started working fully remote in 2016 when it was not really that common as it is today,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
managing an organization remote. So think about that. I mean, I would never have this opportunity if I didn't have a good LinkedIn profile.
See, there you go. All
Yeah.
right, everyone, my Let's Talk family. If you don't have a LinkedIn, I'll give you a charge to go ahead and actually start a profile this week or next week. Just put it on your calendar to do it. It's going to benefit you, and you, like I said, it's be a nice surprise that something could be in your inbox, and you never think that that could be you.
Yeah.
So let's do ahead, and we got the good tips. We got the good tools to go ahead and get started. This is kind of branding yourself. You're branding yourself. So this is a great opportunity to start branding yourself. Even when you think you don't need it, you do need it. So before we leave out, I do have another thing I want to talk about that you have some expertise in, and it's about being an introvert and to how can you basically do all this, because when you do this you put yourself out there. So I know an introvert is thinking about the end result of it. Well, if I put this out here, people will start contacting me, how I'm gonna handle that. So how do you handle being an introvert, and how you be able to network as an introvert?
Yeah. So, luckily today, we have opportunities that never existed before. So when I started my career, the only way to network would be to go to some event, to some conference. And to be honest, and I was going to tech conferences with tens of thousands of participants. And for me, it was always super, super, super intimidating just
Mhm.
going to a huge convention center with so many people I didn't know and start, chit chatting with people I don't know and networking, right? Because this is part of what people do in those events. And
Mhm.
it was really hard for me. It got
Mhm.
easier over time, but in general, I still don't enjoy that much. I still
Mhm.
find it overwhelming to go to a place with tons of people. But today, you can do a lot of things virtually.
That's
You
true.
can join a lot of networks virtually and meet people in a more intimate setup that is less intimidating. So, one of the top platforms that I love and I use it a lot is called Lunch Club.
Mhm.
And Lunch Club allows you to do one on ones networking
Okay.
and meet different people based on you basically create a profile, you tell about yourself and tell about what kind of people you're interested in meeting and what topics. And they have an algorithm that match you.
Mm.
And the matching is not bad. And you meet people and you just talk with people every week, depending how many you want to talk to. I usually try to do once a week if I can.
Mhm.
And you meet interesting people and you also train that muscle. You train that muscle of connecting with people you don't know, but in a much less intimidating setup because it's one-on-one, it's a virtual.
Mhm.
I highly recommend trying that.
And can you say the name of it again, please?
Yeah, it's called Lunch Club.
Okay. So
Let me
that's
see
another.
if I can find the URL. I will post it here.
Okay, good. So that's another outlet for if you're introvert. I am not. I'm far from it, but there's a lot of people I know that are, and it's very intimidating for people to talk to people that they don't know. It's very difficult. So I have
Yeah,
to. This will be a great opportunity for you, like you said, to work that muscle. So you'll be able to do this, and it's gonna make it to you could go outside of that because you'll feel comfortable and be able to do other things.
yeah,
So this
yeah,
is a great platform for you to start to do it. So
yeah.
I'll go ahead and just let me see. I have it here, and that's it. Lunchclub.com. So those are for people who are introverts and that need assistance and learn how to communicate, network, and find
Yeah,
people.
and I don't know if you can join it. Maybe you can sign up because when I joined, someone invited me. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can join it without an invite. Maybe you can. I don't
Oh
know,
yeah, you
but
probably have. You probably can because
yeah,
they're not. That's the whole point. They want to get more people on there. So
yeah.
yeah,
This
but
is my
let's go
link.
ahead and look into it
Yeah,
and see if that's
yeah,
something you want. So
yeah.
once again, lunchclub.com is for introverts to be able to network. So there you go. And so once again, I thank you so much for being on our show today. It was a blessing to learn some new stuff. And we in this resignation, what do they call it, the Great Resurrection, or um, what is it called again? I can't
You
think of the
mean
name. Basically, is for you to resign from your job. Yeah,
the
that's
Great Resignation?
yeah, resignation. That's it. For you to resign from your job, and that's been going on for the last couple of years. So this is another part of getting yourself ready if you want to make this
Mm-hmm.
move, or stay where you're at and just be pleasantly surprised when you get a nice email in your inbox. So, but thank you again for joining us. It was great having you. I learned a lot as well. So thank you so much. Do you have any
Thank you.
final words before we say goodbye today?
First of all, thank you, Regina. It was an absolute pleasure being here today. I want to just say a few words to the audience. Just
Sure.
believe in yourself, find people who lift you up, surround yourself with people you enjoy and that makes you feel good and more confident.
All right. Well, as you heard, we about that confidence up here. Let's talk. So, thank you for joining us again. My name is Regina Smithwick. I'm your host. Let's talk 1943. Until next time, God bless. Love you. Have a great day.